This is the Cullinan, the biggest diamond ever found, standing roughly at 3.1 thousand carats, equivalent to 620 grams, or 1 1/3 of a pound. This diamond was found more than 100 years ago at the premier mine in Pretoria, South Africa, one of only a handful of countries in the world where diamonds can be found, mined, and processed in a profitable way. After its discovery, the Cullinan was not able to be sold for 2 years because of the lack of buyers who would be able to pay a suitable price for this unique stone. In the end, the Cullinan was presented as a birthday gift to the British monarch, King Edward VII. While doing so, it was polished and cut into 9 large stones and about 100 smaller ones in order to make it suitable to be used as jewelry. All things considered, the Cullinan fetched a market value of around $1 million. The diamond industry today is, of course, much bigger than it was in the early 20th century. It is estimated that the global market for polished diamonds stands somewhere between 25 and 30 billion US dollars a year, of which a large share is paid to a small number of diamond mining companies. These companies are tasked with searching for, discovering, mining, processing, and sorting the rough diamonds, which later become the finished end product, most often in the form of jewelry that people can buy. These mining companies include the big three: Russia-based Alrosa, South Africa-based Anglo American through its subsidiary De Beers, and Australia-based Rio Tinto. Together, these 3 companies represent over 60% of mined rough diamonds globally and operate some of the largest, deepest, and most profitable diamond mines in the world. In terms of the principal mining method used, the diamond industry is not that different to other minerals, say gold or copper. Deposits with significant amounts of diamonds in them are drilled, filled with explosives, and blasted, with resulting broken ore transported to a nearby sorting and processing facility. Once there, ore is further crushed into even smaller pieces so that rough diamonds can be found, extracted, and sorted by size by facility workers. Interestingly, large rough diamonds sometimes get broken down during the blasting along with the ore that contains them and present themselves as smaller diamonds at the processing facility. This results in significant foregone profits for the miners, as larger stones often command a premium in the marketplace due to their rarity and a wider range of possibilities when it comes to the jewelry that they can go into. However, these losses are compensated for by the higher amount of ore that can be treated, using the highly standardized bulk mining approaches described earlier. A typical diamond mine employs a couple thousand people and treats several million tons of ore each year. Contained within that ore are a few carats of diamonds, each carat equivalent to 0.007 of an ounce, or 0.2 grams, which is a really small proportion of the overall mass of the ore being treated. Given this, mining companies need to ensure that the deposit they are working with has a high enough concentration of diamonds to make it economical for them to move and treat this much material. Once the diamonds have been mined and processed, they are sold to the so-called midstream players, which represent large and small cutting and polishing houses in countries like India, Israel, and Belgium. Polished diamonds are then handed over to jewelry makers, who finally turn the billion-year-old stones into beautiful artifacts that people around the world often pay a small fortune for the privilege of owning. So why do people value diamonds? Thanks to the highly successful marketing campaigns from the 1960s, diamonds have become highly sought-after jewelry items, tightly associated with the engagement tradition in the United States and other Western countries. Given their physical strength and fissure resistance, they are one of the hardest substances on Earth, and therefore act as a perfect token for symbolizing the idea of eternal love for one's partner. What's interesting about the diamond industry, however, is that its value is built to a large degree on the premise of scarcity. Because there are only a small number of economical diamond deposits in the world, there are only so many diamonds that can be produced in a year. And therefore, those who want to own them have to pay a premium for the privilege. While the true extent of diamond scarcity is up for debate, what is clear is that overproduction is something the diamond mining industry is highly interested in avoiding. So much so that some observers are saying that new technological advances, such as the ability to grow synthetic diamonds in a lab, are one of the biggest threats to the industry's profitability in the future. Not only are lab-grown diamonds cheaper to produce, but they are also not limited to the natural availability in geological deposits suitable for mining. Therefore, given identical physical properties, the only factor explaining a price premium on natural diamonds over their lab-grown equivalents is the above-mentioned notion of scarcity. What's further interesting is that diamonds are part of a rare breed of products in economic theory, for which higher prices actually result in higher demand. This class of products is called Veblen goods, named after the Swedish economist who studied these goods as part of the phenomenon of conspicuous consumption. What this implies is that the value of diamonds is predicated on their high price, as it turns them into less of a regular piece of jewelry and more into a status symbol. So how much profit do diamond industry players actually earn? Well, as mentioned before, diamond mining companies command the majority of the overall profit, as they control the most scarce resource needed for production, the finished product that people value, rough diamond deposits. Each of the big three diamond miners is able to extract significant operating profit from every dollar of their rough diamond sales. The biggest contributing factor to diamond mining profits, besides price, is the so-called deposit grade. Deposit grade is the measure of how much rough diamond material is present, on average, in a ton of ore contained in the deposit. If you imagine two identical mines, both treating the same amount of ore each year, but the first one is having twice as much diamond content in every ton of the ore that it treats, you can guess which one is going to be more profitable. Answer: not the second one. The rest of the diamond mining industry, including the cutting and polishing houses, jewelry makers, and retailers, are all considered to have much more modest profit margins. This is so because all these players have much less economic power, comparatively speaking, than do the diamond mining companies. After all, there are many more players who can cut and polish rough diamonds, turn them into jewelry, and provide for retail than there are economic diamond deposits in the world. And so, whoever controls the deposits also controls most of the profit pools. In the end, it is hard to make the mental connection between the exquisite diamond jewelry we see in high-end shopping centers around the world with the seemingly crude and dirty way in which the diamonds are originally mined and processed. This is not accidental, because our associations are shaped by advertising and mass communication, which in turn are controlled by those who fund them, i.e., the diamond jewelry industry. And they would much rather we associate diamonds with things like marriage, tradition, luxury, romance, and eternal love. However it is, the diamond industry today is a great amalgamation of a number of human innovations, including mining and processing technology, jewelry polishing and artisanship, economics and bargaining power, as well as mass psychology and marketing.